can start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag is here.
Sorry. It takes me a little bit of a minute here. Honestly. Oh, sorry.
I pledge allegiance to the Thank you. If we would like, we could go around the room for introductions, starting to my right.
Anna Riley, School Department Superintendent.
Danielle Carey, CFO, School Department.
Tony Teixeira, Bristol Town Council.
Aaron Lay, Bristol Town Council.
Mary Perla, Bristol Town Council.
Joseph D. Pasquale, Warren Town Council.
Nathan Calero, Bristol Town Council.
Steve Contenti, Bristol Town Administrator.
Tim Sweeney, Bristol Town Council.
Brian Sullivan, Warren Town Manager.
Sheila Raposa, volunteer from Warren.
Jessica Capaldi. I will be taking the minutes for the meeting tonight.
Okay, thank you. And is there, let's see, we have the minutes. Everybody looked at the minutes? Any changes, alterations, or corrections?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we'll have old business. The discussion and action regarding the clarity from the Bristol Planning Board on the drainage concerns. Is there a report?
Yes. So I reached out to Diane Williamson prior to the meeting, and our discussion was on point, but I had a couple of things that I can share. One is the planning board's ultimate goal was, and they don't specifically understand that the JFC cannot tell the school specifically where to spend the money. That being said, it was a very large concern of theirs to make sure that there was budgeting for continued maintenance of the drainage system. And I know that we all shook our head and said yes, but they wanted to make sure that we kind of overemphasize that. There are, when I spoke to Diane today, she mentioned that the planning board had said that there is a retention pond on the corner of Naomi and obviously the high school, and there are some trees there, and those are the things that they were concerned about. Trees growing in there, some plastic bags, things like that. The bags don't sound like they'd be a big deal, but they'll slow down water leaching into the ground, which is of course its point. Planning board also wanted to say that they were very happy about the efforts made by the school committee to not only meet the expectations of the planning board, but to exceed them in regards to drainage. And lastly, it was about making sure that the maintenance plan was memorialized. So you have a maintenance plan, so just making sure that it's memorialized and it's budgeted. And another example was the artificial turf. I guess it's like 700,000. You're going to know that better than I. But being able to make sure that there's budgeting there, for example, of 70,000 a year because it's supposed to be replaced every 10 years. So I think we covered everything, but I wanted to hit those salient points.
Any other comments? Any feedback? Anything anyone want to add to that? If not, we will hope you all do what you're supposed to do with the drainage, and we have faith in you. Next, we have discussion and action regarding the Bristol Warren Regional School District's proposed 25-26 school budget. Ms. Riley?
Sure. We walked through this presentation the last time. I'll just hit the highlights as we go through here. This is all of the goals in our strategic plan. As we work through the requests for the budget from the district principals and from the finance managers of each one of our different offices, we make sure that we are reflecting the goals that we're working towards in our budget. We highlighted last time some of the big drivers for increases in our budget, the out-of-district placements, new transportation contract, contractual obligations. Both of our unions are our teachers unions going into the third year of their contract, and we just are getting ready to complete a Council 94 contract that hopefully in the next few weeks. Healthcare, dental, and life, we actually just did receive the healthcare increase. It was 8%. We were hoping for better. We only budgeted 6%, so we'll have to find that 2% somewhere, but the official numbers came out. The increase in the pension contributions, which actually happened this year, after we had done our budget, there was quite an increase unexpected for both school districts and municipalities, because it wasn't just teachers, but also for police and fire. So we all had to cope with that big increase now being a part of our budget. And then finally, the reduction in state aid of approximately $220,000. And so you see our budget request. We did make quite a few cuts before bringing this to you. We cut over $2.4 million and about approximately 17.6 staff members to get to this number. So we feel like we have done our due diligence in bringing you a responsible budget. So these are the projected expenditures for next year. And then you see our revenues to align with that expenditure, which does include the breakout for both towns and the payment on our current bond. And I think that is it, unless folks have any questions this evening.
Any questions for the superintendent? Wow. Okay. Next, we have discussion and action to authorize an extension of maturity date.
I'm sorry, you do have to vote, though. You have your resolution.
We've
for me?
chosen not to.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about the action part.
You have a copy of the motion in front of you, if someone would like to make one of those.
Silence kind of blew me away. Are there any questions from the public? Okay. So the motion is in front of us, and should I read it, or will you read it?
I'm happy to make the
And
motion.
Make the motion.
Sure. So I'll make the motion that we adopt the proposal. I'm going to read it right in front of you. Request for motion and approval to fund Bristol Warren Regional School District budget for the fiscal year 2026, beginning in July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026, as requested for $61,756,227. Whereas the Joint Finance Committee has the responsibility and the authority to bind the towns of Bristol and Warren to providing for funding adequate, for the continued operations for our regional school district based upon our community's ability to pay, the amount of state and other aid available, and the appropriateness of the expenditures shown in the requested budget. And whereas the Joint Finance Committee recognizes the continuing significant educational progress, fiscal responsibility, and the commitment and dedication of staff, administration, and school committee, and whereas the Joint Finance Committee is actually aware of the financial crisis facing our nation and states, be it resolved that the maximum expenditure level of the Bristol Warren Regional School District, exclusive of grants and state pension cost funding, is set at $61,576,220. $61,756,227 as follows. Summary operations, $60,174,227. Debt service, $1,582,000. Total authorization, $61,756,227. Estimated non-local aid, $15,578,886. Authorized local aid, $46,177,341. The local contribution is fixed in accordance with the enabling legislation as amended November 2014. So we have total students of 3,165, 1,275. I'm reading this, it feels strange the way I'm reading it.
1,207
1,200 students at 38.15%, which is Warren's portion, and 1,958 students, which is 61.85%, which is Bristol's portion. And that dollar breakdown again is total local aid, $46,177,341. Warren's portion of it is $15,511,113, excuse me. And Bristol's portion is $30,666,328.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion?
Second.
Mr. Sweeney?
No, second the motion.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought there was discussion. So, floor is open for discussion on the motion, if there is any. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? It's unanimous. Next, we will have discussion and action to authorize an extension of maturity date of the 2024 notes from April 5, 2025 to June 9th, 2025, and to pay the accrued interest on the 24 notes on or before June 9th, 2025. Who would like to discuss that?
I have a couple of questions, please.
Please, Ms. Raposa.
I was wondering what the significance was of extending these notes for just 60 days. What's the trigger on the June 9th date?
I'm happy to answer.
Ms. Mack?
We had discussed at the last meeting, when you approved the issuance of the 25 notes, that each of the towns and the district didn't have their audited financials ready. And in order to go out for a bond of that size, we needed to have updated financial statements and audited reports to put in the official statement that goes out to the market. Because it couldn't get done in a perfect world, those audits would have been done, we would have included them, we would have gone out, we would have paid off the 24 notes in April, and we would start with the 25 notes the day after. It's not a perfect world, everyone's resource compromised, and so as we're waiting for the audits to come in and get the information, we have to extend for 60 days. And we technically only needed to extend for 45 days, according to the auditors saying that they'd get it done. I just wanted to go out an extra 15 days, just to give us the security of knowing that it would be done and we could do our bond issue. So,
Are the audited financial statements for each of the towns? Or, okay, so it's the town, it's not necessarily the school committee?
exactly, yes.
It's for the town?
Because the revenues for these bonds come primarily from the member towns and
Yeah.
of course the state aid. So investors look to them and their performance, for lack of a better word.
Okay. And my second question is, what do you anticipate the rate to be that you're offering to the market for these bonds?
So the 25 bonds, we have been budgeting slightly over 4%. But interest rates went down again today, and it could very well be the 10-year interest rate that we use as a marker for bonds. So it could very well be by the time we get to May, June, it could be down again.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Okay, so, no other questions on that, and is there a motion to make this extension?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? Probably not. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Now we have additional public comment. If anyone would like to tell us something, there's an opportunity here, or ask us something. Okay. Now, are we really done?
We're done.
Boy, this isn't like the old days, huh?
It is
No.
No.
I guess a tip of the hat to you.
I know, that's what I was saying before you came in. Yeah.
Um,
Very fortunate.
Well, why don't we just hang out for a while?
Well, there is Music Cafe downstairs. You could enjoy that.
That was a joke. I've held office lots of years here.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you.
Second?
All in favor? I was trying not to be rude. Did I just step,
Joe, I think you beat me. I think you beat me for the quickest meeting.
It's the quickest.
Yeah, I thought I had it.
Congratulations.
Well,
Thank you.
you know what they say, leadership counts.